All right, I'm gonna copy this and we're gonna go into anti-gravity and I'm gonna paste this exact PRD. Now let's wait for the magic to happen. All right, it just went ahead and did its own thing, and within a couple minutes it built that workflow for me. So let's open it up and see what it made. So it's a 16 node workflow. It would take me like a couple hours to make, planning and all that. So let's see. Huh, not bad. It actually made it better than me. That's cool. Now you guys can build end-to-end n8n workflows with just a couple of prompts. Now I know what you're thinking. I've tried it before, it didn't work. Now we're going to be using a specific framework. We're going to use an n8n MCP that has tons of tools within the MCP and built-in templates as well that the AI can go ahead and take inspiration from with n8n expressions as well. And we're going to be using skills, specifically Claude skills, but we're going to be tweaking it and making it ours so anti-gravity can use that as well. Now, what you're going to be learning in this video is what is an MCP, how we will configure an anti-gravity workspace that will become your n8n AI agent partner, and how to configure and build Claude skills to your desired anti-gravity instance. Now, that's done. Okay, let's just understand what's an MCP is. MCP stands for more Model Context Protocol. I mean, I know it sounds all fancy and all. Let me just explain it to you in simple manner. So, exa- for example, you're in a restaurant, right? In a foreign country, you don't know their language. Let's assume you don't know French, and the kitchen or the waiter does not know English as well. So what you do is you have a translator in between that knows the language and knows how to communicate it accordingly to the kitchen. So you give the translator a natural language prompt in English. I want a burger, right? Goes ahead and see, all right, the user wants a burger, and I'm just gonna go ahead and translate that requirement to the kitchen. Now the kitchen in this instant is n8n. The translator in this instance is the MCP server, and you in this instance is the AI agent, right? The agent goes ahead and give a call to the translator, the MCP server, and the MCP server just go ahead and give it to the kitchen. Fair enough. Now that's the MCP server, but we're going to be using another framework as well. That's skills, specifically stealing the Claude skills repo and making it ours. So without the skills, it'll just go ahead and give you generic outputs, missed error handlings, and does not know how to create production grade workflows. Now, the things we'll be creating won't be 100% production. It'll make you like 70% of the way there, but it won't be perfect. You have to get your hands dirty and get in the nitty gritty to even go ahead and make it production grade, right? That's why learning n8n fundamentals are important and is necessary in order to grow and compete in the AI agent or AI automation space, if you would say. All right, so what are AI skills? So an AI skill is basically tells the agent what do we have to do. So it gives them step by step instruction, more like a, what do you call it, a recipe for a secret menu. So instead of going all the way around figuring it out on its own, trying various things, we give it step by step instructions. So for example, we're going to say, all right, you have to build an n8n workflow. First, make a plan. After you make a plan, go ahead and see what nodes do you need to know, and then after it goes ahead and see what nodes we have, then in the end it goes ahead and configure those nodes like just like this, and then add expressions in them. So we're just telling the agent step by step how to make a workflow and what skills it has in order to make that workflow. That what a skill is. Now Claude skills or anti-gravity skills, basically both of them are the same thing. Under the hood, it's just a markdown file. What a markdown file is a text written for an AI agent telling it what it needs to do step by step. So you could think it as an when you're hiring a new employer, you give him the SOP, tell him accept exactly step by step what he needs to do in order to fulfill a certain task. That's what the skills are. Plot code skills, anti-gravity skills, both of them are same. So don't we need to worry about that. Now let's just go ahead and simplify it and combine both of these together. So anti-gravity is your command center, right? You give anti-gravity a prompt, like go ahead and build me a workflow that has make workflows, right? The anti-gravity is going to go ahead and read the skills, the recipes, and it's going to see, all right, I have these steps, and I'm going to take these steps and go ahead and make a scenario. Then it's going to translate that request to that MCP server that is the bridge between anti-gravity and our n8n, right? And then it'll go back and forth until the workflow is complete and everything is done and dusted. So I'm going to attach all the resources below if you want to follow along. So, and we're going to build a production grade n8n workflow for a client that I made with just the call transcript. So let's just go over how the n8n anti-gravity instance works. So first of all, you're going to go to antigravity.google, install it. It'll just go ahead and okay, once you install anti-gravity, it's going to prompt you to open a folder. So basically just create a folder on your desktop. It could be anywhere. I just created one with the name of YouTube. So let's just go ahead and open that up. So that's YouTube, right? We're going to select this folder and it's going to open it up. Now let me just run you through the terminal and what an anti-gravity is. So basically an IDE is where developers code. So it's basically built to code. However, anti-gravity is not built for manual coding per se. It's built for agentic coding. So you give an AI a prompt and it'll just go ahead and code it for you. So on the left side over here, we have where file explorer, you could say that. So everything would be contained over here. So files, every file would be contained over here. So, for example, if you open a file explorer, all of the files are like this, right? I'm gonna shit. All of the files are in a horizontal way, but in a explorer, it's in a vertical way, right? So instead of being horizontal, it's vertical. But these are end files. In the middle, you can open a file that we're going to be seeing right now, and in the left, you can prompt an agent, right? I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Let me see. Yeah, you can. So you can pick any model. So anti-gravity has Gemini 3.4, 3 Pro, 4.5 Sonnet, and all of that good stuff. You can toggle its conversation mode, planning, and fast. Stick to plan. Do not go too fast. And you can add context, images, workflows, and other things, right? So that's basically a quick walkthrough. Now there are tons of things around here. You can just go ahead and play with it. I don't think that would help you a lot. The basic uh, thing is you know how to open anti-gravity and where your folders are, how to prompt an agent. I don't even use the middle window anymore. Anyways, now let's jump into how we're going to be building the n8n MCP's trigger and the AI agent that goes along with it. So it's this guy. I'm not even going to try that. So it's get this guy. So we're just going to go ahead. I'm not even going to read that. This is for the n8n MCP. It's, I think, a good repo. I just found that. And that's for the n8n skills. Per se, Claude skills, but you could use it however you want. Now we're going to just copy both of these. I'm going to paste that into anti-gravity environment and we're going to tell him what we want it to do. So I'm going to be using Whisper Flow. I'm going to transcribe it. So hey man, I have attached two GitHub repo, one for n8n MCP and one for n8n skills. What I want you to do is create me a plan on how to configure n8n MCP in anti-gravity and use Claude skills as a skill set when I want to make n8n agent. So it can just go through the skills, know what skill it needs. It could be multiple, could be one, and just go ahead and implement the workflow for me. I'm not technical, I don't know how to do it. Go ahead and guide me step by step on how we would be able to implement that and make a production grade workflow from scratch within one session. Now I have also I've already have an n8n MCP attached. I will delete that. This is for a YouTube demo purpose. So just wanted to shoot that over for context. I'm gonna use Claude Opus 4.5 for building every time. Now, okay, and that's doing. Let's just go over some of the things. So in MCP server, how you can configure it. Obviously, the agent's gonna tell us how to configure it, but the way we configure it, basically, apologies, my bad. So the way we configure it is basically we click on these three dots, MCP server, and Antigravity does have built-in MCP servers to begin with. So instead of just going all around and around installing our own MCP server, Antigravity has built in some of the MCP server like Notion, MongoDB, Stripe, and all that. You could just click on it, configure it, add your API key, and you're good to go. But however, as you can see, we do not have an n8n MCP server. So for that, we're gonna go to manage MCP server and we're gonna create our own server within Antigravity so the agent can go ahead and execute it. So I already have one, but I'm gonna just go ahead and delete that out so we don't have to do it again. Now, no MCP server configured. Let's go back and see what the agent has for us. Okay, it just went ahead and created us a plan. So it was planning an MCP skills integration. Now the n8n skills on installation in .agent slash skills folder. That's where the agent's MD file for workflow building instructions. So it's a specific format the anti-gravity uses skills in. We're not even going to worry about that because all we need is end-to-end MCP server that will go ahead and build us n8n workflows that are 70 or to 80% complete. We just have to go ahead and do that. And working, I confirm this via the health check. Now it knows that we have an MCP tool available, but I just deleted it. So we're just gonna go ahead and prompt it that I deleted it. So it just give us an implementation task and a couple of tasks that it has to do. Now, the good thing about anti-gravity is it has artifacts. So the way the things that you guys are seeing right now, task and implementation plan, are artifacts. So it just goes ahead and consult with you every time what it needs to do before even doing it. So it said that current status that MCP is already connected and what we're setting up, the n8n skills, the proposed changes, and all of that good stuff. I like that. I'm just gonna say to him, "Hey man, I just deleted the MCP server. I want to configure it from scratch. Can you guide me on how to do it? And other than that, if you need anything else from my side, go ahead and ask it to me." Uh, workspace location should be app slash YouTube. That's correct. I'm gonna send it, and it's gonna guide us how to configure the MCP server. So we're just going to wait a bit and see what it gives us. All right, so I told him to help me configure the MCP server. It just went ahead and asked me a couple questions. So it asked me what's my n8n instance URL is. Basically, if you don't know what this is you just go copy this one. You just need an n8n instance URL. We're going to copy this one and we're going to give it to you. Since I'm self-hosting n8n on render, we're going to give him that. And it needs my n8n API key to install it. So we're just gonna go to settings and hit an API key. We're gonna create a new API key. We're gonna just name it YouTube and we're gonna save it. I'm gonna definitely delete this afterwards. Uh, we're gonna here proceed. Now it's gonna go ahead and do its own thing and create us an MCP file configuration. Okay, and within just a couple of minutes, it did its thing. Now I don't know what it needs to do, but it's gonna guide me step by step on how what needs to be done. So it just said configuration completed. I've set up everything. Now you need to refresh the MCP server. Click the three dots on the top right of the chart. Click MCP server. Click The refresh button. Once you refresh your taste, you'll verify the connection. Okay, let's see. MCP server, refresh. All right. I don't even have to do anything. It's configured it on its own. Okay, I guess it's done. So I guess we should test it out. All right. So real quick, let me just go and get my prompt. So this is the prompt. So initially, what I did is I just gave the call transcript to Gemini and told this create a PRD for an edited workflow. I will provide the all of the list and the call details. It just went ahead and created a PRD for me. So I just copied this and went into Antigravity, pasted the exact text, and boom, it just went ahead and did its own thing. So it's come up with an implementation plan. Since I've actually built it before, I think that will work. Yep, actually created a diagram for us as well. Well, let's see. Yeah, sounds okay. Proceed. Okay, just went ahead and built the workflow successfully. But before we hop into the workflow, let's see what it has given us to walk through. So one it's done, it always give us another artifact that's called walkthrough. It'll walk through its exact process, what it did, what happens, and what is the next step. So the name, the ID, the nodes, the inactivity, inactive needs configuration. All of the nodes are inactive. Open in n8n, we can have the link, and it just gave us a workflow of how it will go ahead and configure it, and the nodes that are deployed, the things that are required, the placeholders, the next step, open the workflow, add connection, replace flow, what was it like. It guides you step by step how to do even the configuration. So I highly recommend just going ahead and looking into and peeking into its brain while it was doing its all thing. So expand it and see what it was doing internally, what tools it called, and what things it did in the back end. It actually went ahead and fixed an error as well while it was building one, and then went ahead and do it. Anyways, let's just jump into the workflow it created for us and see how it works. Now, obviously, we would need to configure it, but based on just a call transcript and a PRD, it actually went ahead and drafted a 70% done workflow. I would say it's a pretty darn good thing, and it's basically more or less complete. It did what it wanted to do. It's 70% of the way there. That's why I highly recommend going ahead and mastering n8n fundamentals. You do not have to be an expert, but you would have to know how n8n works and on a high level, so you know what to build and what to tweak even if something breaks. Now I need to be real with you, this isn't magic, it's assistance. You will need to set up your credentials, test maybe and tweak a few things, and understand the basic of n8n. Now but it does highly help you build side by side with the builder. If you're stuck on anything, you can just go ahead and ask it. It has total knowledge about your workflow and what you're building. So it could work as a partner, not as a replacement for a human to just build things. Yeah, if it's like smaller automations like connecting 1 to 2 nodes, yeah, sure, it can do a really great job. You don't even have to configure your credentials. You can just test it right off the bat. Now, hopefully that makes sense. So you now understand what an MCP is, the translator, the skills, the recipe book, all of that into one thing, and how they combine in Antigravity to build production grade n8n workflow. Now, when I mean production grade, I do not literally mean production grade. I mean that it is production grade if you just go ahead and get your hand dirty a bit and tweak a few things. Then it's production grade within a couple minutes. Now everything would be in the description if you want to follow along and do your own thing and build beside me, which I highly think it's not gonna happen the way I explained. But I hope it was helpful, and I will try to make videos much better the next time. All right, have a lovely day. See you until next time. Bye bye.